Hey guys, Jay, welcome back to the channel. So guys, I really think it's about time we had a serious discussion about the current Haslab dilemma. Yeah guys, if you haven't heard already, there's a couple of issues going on with one of the latest Haslab projects. And what I mean by one of them, currently there are actually three, yes, three Haslab projects running at the exact same time. So yeah, guys, I think it's about time we looked deeper into this situation and see exactly where each of these Haslab projects is sitting right now. We have to discuss the elephant in the room, the Haslab Return of the Jedi Rancor Beast. This is pretty crazy in terms of what it means for Haslab. Again, we're talking about three separate Haslab projects being done at the exact same time. And the one project, Star Wars project, which was fully expected to be funded very, very quickly, seems to be one backwards instead of forwards. The Rancor Beast is the very first Haslab project for 6-inch characters, the Black Series. This project came in at $349.99. Not a surprising number considering the two projects that came before it, but in terms of what the project is, a gigantic beast that's only ever seen in one part of the Return of the Jedi, albeit one of the most exciting parts of the Return of the Jedi. The Rancor Beast also dies, following its tradition that every single Haslab project itself has been destroyed in one way or another. The sail barge was blown up by Luke and Leia, the Razor Crest was blown up by Moff Gideon, and Luke defeats the Rancor Beast with a stone throw to close the gates of its cage, crushing it to death. Unfortunately, it seems like Haslab may have underestimated the willingness of fans to really back all these projects at the same time. The Rancor Beast sits at 5,112 backers of a 9,000 backer goal. Now, that might seem very impressive considering the fact that there are only 19 days. However, at one point, this number was actually higher. If you actually go back to one of my previous live streams, you'll actually see that the Rancor Beast was actually upped because of certain circumstances. It's actually gone and lost backers. And that's what we're going to get into today. The Rancor Beast itself probably would have been easily backed if it wasn't for the other two projects, the Ghostbusters Plasma Series Proton Pack, as well as the GI Joe Striker. All three projects running at the same time seems to have really hurt both the GI Joe project and the Rancor Black Series project. It's the opinion of many fans out there that if each of these projects was being done separately, months apart from each other, there would actually be no problems in backing any of these projects. Running them three at the exact same time, this close to Christmas, is a very strange move on Hasbro's part. The fact that everyone out there already has set budgets and money being tight the way it is in the current situation of the world, it is a surprise that Hasbro would make this type of move. The project itself was announced at Hasbro PulseCon, and they didn't share any of the additional stretch goals. Unlike the GI Joe Skystriker project, in which they literally released all of their stretch goals immediately. The Haslab team did share the numbers required to reach the first and second tiers for their stretch goals. The tiers 3 and 4 were not shared. Much like the GI Joe Skystriker, the project itself started off with a bang. The first couple of days of the initial funding saw a number of different backers. They were both hitting numbers of close to 3,000 backers at the time. But unfortunately for both projects, 5 days later, after the Haslab Ghostbusters project was announced, funding started to slow down considerably. And as of this recording, the Star Wars Black Series Rancor Beast is sitting at 5,112 backers. What has contributed to this? To be frank, three Haslab projects being run at the exact same time is a lot to ask fans, particularly fans of all three properties, Star Wars, GI Joe, and Ghostbusters. Haslab might have bitten off more than they can chew in this case, especially considering the fact that we are in a holiday season. Haslab truly underestimated the Proton Pack's response from the fans. The fact that it was priced at such an incredible deal in terms of how much a Proton Pack actually costs to manufacture, coupled with the fact that there was an actual movie in the works, and of course, the Neutrino Wand, which they had released early in the year, being a wonderful accompanying piece with this Proton Pack, I think this made for a perfect storm in terms of the overall funding goals that were reached for the Ghostbusters Plasma Series Spengler's Proton Pack. The GI Joe Skystriker, in my opinion, I think it was a really good and smart move for them to showcase all of the O-ring characters that are being highlighted for this particular series, considering the fact that there are a lot of O-Ring fans out there and that they are pushing for O-Ring figures to be start of the mainstream GI Joe releases going forward. This is still an experiment, of course, as the only O-Ring figures that have been announced are available at Haslab Pearls only. We still have yet to see if these figures will come to retail. Leaving us with the Rancor Beast. As much as the Rancor Beast is a beloved character in the Star Wars series, it is not a vehicle. Coupling to the fact that the Rancor Beast itself was killed. All these factors combined lead to the fact that the Rancor Beast itself, although it is a legendary character in the Star Wars universe, the stretch goals in this particular case will help to push this particular project over the line. That brings us to what's happened in the last few weeks. Shortly after the announcement of the Rancor Beast, as soon as funding started to slow down, Hasbro decided to announce the first of the stretch goals at 11,000 backers and unveiled that the Gemorian Guard with special commemorative coin on a Power of the Force card back would be included with the Rancor Beast. This is a pretty big deal, as it's been quite a long time since we've actually had a Gemorian Guard. This helped to boost the numbers of the backers in the short term. A few days ago, Haslab decided to release the second stretch goal, and this seems to be where a lot of the problems arise. The second stretch goal at 13,500 backers, honestly, was a little bit lackluster. Haslab revealed that the second tier was in fact a diorama set, including skulls and bones from various creatures that the Rancor Beast had devoured, which were strewn across the cave, as well as a full diorama backing card, which is in the style of the Rancor Beast's cage. This did not apparently sit well with the fans, as it's apparent that a number of fans have actually retracted their pledges. And honestly, I'm not going to take sides on this particular case, but when you consider that the first stretch goal was a full-size figure, Gemorian Guard Black Series, with commemorative coin, that in and of itself is pretty exciting. I think that, finally being able to get another Gemorian Guard on a Power of the Force backing card is pretty exciting. Following that up with a set of, albeit them, very well sculpted accessory bones, skulls, and little tiny Easter eggs that you can wink at. For example, this is a Gemorian Guard skull, and the headdress that this skull is wearing really does look like one of those slave girls who fell into the pit earlier. That notwithstanding, the final reaction to this new tier of stretch goals was not received very well, and it seems to be resonating within the community. This has led to a number of memes being shared around by fans who are obviously upset at the situation. There seems to be a number of people who are displeased with the entire idea at this latest release of the Haslab stretch goal for the Rancor Beast. A lot of people seem to be critical about these types of stretch goals. So what can we infer from this? Haslab being a brand new way to reach older fans of major properties which they have licenses to or own outright, maybe they just bit off a little more than they could chew. Having 3 different Haslab projects running at the same time, the Rancor Beast, the GI Joe Skystriker, and of course, the Ghostbusters Spengler pack, this is unheard of. And I think it really was something where the Haslab team truly did believe that all 3 projects had enough fan bases to warrant having them at the same time. I think what they forgot to take into account is that most of the fan bases of each of these projects overlap. People who are fans of Ghostbusters, people who are fans of GI Joe, and people who are fans of Star Wars, they are all geeks in mind, and they usually have multiple genres which they are fans of. And I think that's something that they overlooked. Now, having said that, we already know that the Ghostbusters Proton pack has fully funded and is well on its way to get its first tier. The GI Joe Skystriker, honestly, with all of its tiers already being released, I'm fully expecting that enough GI Joe fans out there are probably going to want to pick up their version of the Skystriker, particularly because the GI Joe property right now is never been hotter in terms of its overall popularity. Star Wars, let's be honest, it's Star Wars. And the Rancor Beast is one of those projects which, like it or hate it, is a legendary beast in the Star Wars universe. As a matter of fact, the next Haslab Fan First Friday is another one which is dedicated to the Rancor Beast. And this is surprising, as they already did a full Fan First Friday 2 weeks ago, explaining the Rancor Beasts and its offerings. And that's actually where they unveiled the Gemorian Guard. I think it's pretty clear right now. On November 19th, 2021, just a few days from now, we're probably going to see the third and fourth tiers. And if Hasbro is smart, they will actually release another Black Series figure in this tier, as it's pretty evident that a bag of bones and a cardboard backdrop don't seem to be doing it for the fans. Well, guys, I'm going to put it to you now. What are your thoughts about having 3 Haslab projects running at the exact same time? Do you think that the Spengler's Proton Pack is worth the money? I personally think so. It seems to be the best value of the 3. Do you think that the GI Joe Skystriker is going to reach its funding goals? And of course, the elephant in the room, do you think that the Rancor Beast is going to actually reach its funding goals? Are you backing any of these 3 projects? If you are you looking forward to grabbing your Spengler Proton Pack? Are you hoping and really praying that the GI Joe Skystriker is going to make its funding? And do you guys expect that the Rancor Beast will be fully funded? Guys, leave those comments in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, please do leave me a like. It really does help me out. If you have any comments or suggestions on anime, cartoons, toys, collectibles, or anything else you'd like me to review, please leave that in the comment section below, and consider subscribing, as it helps YouTube to realize I'm doing a great job and you guys enjoy my work. Well, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. Geek proud.